Watch this.
You had questions? We got answers. How does Idaho's congressional delegation respond to your inquiries about taxes and spending? Went to D.C. to find out. They bought a backyard grill on a whim and turned it into an oasis between the big city and higher elevations. Now these two brothers are about to take convenience to the next level.
What you gonna do when Hulk Hogan and my real American beer run wild on you, brother?
Whether it was beer or his legendary leg drop, Hulk Hogan could sell it. Another icon gone. You know, it's kind of in the job description. Journalism requires asking questions of people in power, from school boards to City Hall, the state capitol to Capitol Hill. And that's where we find Joe Paris. That's where he's been working this week, in Washington, D.C., trying to track down the answers to some of our questions. But while he's there, we thought he'd also try to find the answers to some of your questions.
Bob in Boise, I believe, he says, it is predicted that in 8 years, Social Security costs will exceed its income. After many years of kicking the can down the road, what will you do to shore up Social Security so it can meet its future obligations?
Yeah, you know, that's a really good question because he's absolutely right. I mean, when they set this up, they knew for a fact that at some point in time it would be unfunded. So as a result of that, we're going to have to pick up the baton and fund it. Look, Social Security is part of the American fabric now. It's something that, much like the public lands issue we just discussed, it's something people want. It's part of their life. It's something they count on. We will do it, and I have every confidence that we will do it. And again, simply because people are so much behind this.
Jordan Gray from Meridian writes, on the rescissions package, he writes, why did they vote for the rescissions package and give away their power of the purse? Do you agree with that?
Well, no. I mean, actually, we voted to stop some spending, but that's power over the purse. And so we didn't give away our power over the purse. I think maybe what he's asking is, since the president recommended that package, why did we vote for it instead of having it come through the Appropriations Committee or something like that? But there's not an inconsistency there. The president recommended that to us because he acknowledged our power over that decision. And he was asking us to make that decision. And so even though it was something that he asked for, the point is we had the authority and we asserted that authority.
This is Sherry from Buell. Sherry writes, I'd like our delegation to answer what they're doing to update immigration policies, what they think about Dreamers. I want to know what they're going to do about the farm and construction worker shortage.
It's vitally important. Frankly, we need a legal workforce in the agricultural arena, but also in construction, and I said hospitality and other things too. And you know, the people I've met are good people. I tell this story all the time. I was in Mexico probably 12 years ago or so with a couple of our friends. Kathy and I went down there. And I was talking to a guy who was around, he came around the hotel and was cleaning up the yard and taking the dead leaves off trees and stuff like that. And Bruce and I went out and talked to him. We found out if he saved every dime he made for the year, didn't pay anything in taxes, took everything he got paid, could save it for a year, he could stay in the place we were staying for one night. That's how much he made. So if you're him and you got a wife and you got 2 kids, what are you going to do? You're going to try to improve your life. Sometimes that means coming to the United States, and that's what some of these people have done years ago. And we've got to respect that. And they're coming here to make a better living, and they've actually improved our economy. And so I've been working on an ag immigration reform bill for several years, bipartisan effort between me and 3 or 4 other Republicans and 3 or 4 Democrats. We've had it pass the House a couple times. I think we're getting closer to getting it done, but it's vital that it get done.
So, Brian, those are 3 members of the Idaho congressional delegation that we spoke with, and we actually spoke with Congressman Russ Fulcher a short time ago here in D.C. We're going to have some of his sound bites coming up next week on the 208. We'll also hear about the Epstein controversy from Congressman Fulcher, his insight on what's going on in the House on that topic. Brian, though, it's been an eye-opening experience, I think, to see firsthand what Idaho's congressional delegation is doing here, and we're excited to bring all of that to our viewers in the coming weeks.
Okay, quick question, Joe. When you were talking to Senator Crapo about the power of the purse, And he said, well, we were just asked to do it, so we did it. Why did they then approve it, though, 2 months prior? Why did they say it was okay to spend this money and then all of a sudden say it's not?
I think there was a reset in terms of priorities and in terms of how they were looking at budgets, especially with some of the Doge actions earlier in the year. You could understand, and we actually asked him about this in a follow-up question that we'll show you next week, that there are people that didn't understand, well, why would you approve something and then take the money back? Well, in terms of taking the money back, it was working with the president and his priorities to cut the national debt in his perspective. So again, you could disagree with that, but I guess they were working in terms of the conservative fiscal principles of wanting to cut budgets across the board.
Okay, we'll look forward to that answer next week. Thank you very much, Joe. You know, they say it happens in threes, and there's a bit of proof to back it up. When one celebrity dies, 2 others usually follow. Think Michael Jackson, Farrah Fawcett, and Ed McMahon in June of 2009. Or Alan Thicke, George Michael, and Carrie Fisher in December of 2016. Or this month, July 2025, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and today, Hulk Hogan. Terry Bollea, who would become arguably professional wrestling's biggest superstar, suffered a heart attack and died today at the age of 71. And while the last time most people might remember seeing Hulk Hogan publicly was giving a speech at the 2024 Republican National Convention, Idahoans, well, we saw him a little bit more recently than that. 2 weeks later, he was in the Gem State selling beer. But an even greater event took place more than a quarter century earlier when the Hulkster returned to the good graces of wrestling fans. It was the summer of 1999, and Hulk Hogan's New World Order was going strong.
They are doing a number on Hogan.
Until
And everybody was so happy that I was a good guy again that it was really cool, but I remember that night.
And that interview was the last time Hulkmania made it to the Gem State to promote his new beer.
If I could get a beer that would make people realize that we're more alike than we are different, we might be able to bring America back together one beer at a time. One Hulk Hogan, real American beer at a time.
Oh, it brought people together, from governors and lawmakers to mayors and Nazis? Uh-huh. Oh yeah, Hulk Hogan's real American beer was a uniter, something people could agree on.
Got a little beach volley on the back end there.
A little bit.
I know this is a real American beer, but it tastes like a Euro lager a little bit.
It does taste a little bit like Heineken.
Yeah.
A little bit like Heineken. Real American beer can still be found at most area Albertson stores and a few Walmarts. It is sold in 23 states. I mean, it really took off after it was introduced, and it is the official beer of the WWE, but I'm guessing it might be getting a little bit of a sales bump today, brother. Well, you've likely driven by the building on the way between Boise and Idaho City. It's unique looking. It's long, has a kind of cut-off pyramid in the middle. You probably noticed it. Wide spot along the road, along Highway 21, near the top of a hill. Hilltop Station has been there for more than 70 years. Originally a sportsman's cafe, it's had a few different lives over the last few decades, and even its time in the spotlight on diners, drive-ins, and dives as the Kodiak Grill. But it's been a bit quiet of late. Now, the owners are trying to pump new life into the place by returning it to a place to get gas in more ways than one. Gotcha. That wasn't the story we were intending to show you. We're going to show you a story about the Hilltop Station. Sometimes you just hit that wrong button and things just go sideways. I know. Okay, so here's that story about the Hilltop Station that is, well, coming up with a new edition.
Heading out from the city of trees into Idaho's mountains, there's only one spot to pull off for a bite or a snack for nearly 40 miles on Highway 21.
How you doing, boss?
12 years ago, when the former Kodiak Grill was for sale, two brothers, Tate and Eric McCullough, took a chance.
We were patrons far before we considered owning it.
Tate lives in Boise and Eric lives in Clear Creek City, so they get to meet in the middle and work together every day at Hilltop Station.
The for sale signs were up on this place. I was like, somebody's got to be able to make that place work. You know, turns out somebody was us.
First came the liquor and convenience store.
And will that be everything for you today? We really built the whole place around the customer. Anything we could do to keep them from going to town.
And months later, they opened the restaurant. Pizza quickly became one of their specialties.
It was always going to be part of it, but it became a focal point.
Because of where it sits, they say they rely on the seasonal travelers.
We provide that refuge for people. There's, over the years, so many people have pulled in and, oh, thank goodness you're here. We make money in the summertime, just enough to survive the winter, and then we kind of do it all over again. But our locals, they really keep us in business throughout the winter time.
You know, our Wilderness Ranch, our Roby Creeks, our Daggett Creeks, our Morris Creek Rim Ranch, those are really the neighbors. Idaho City is still 30 miles past us.
But through many financial ups and downs, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the goal has stayed the same.
We've been kind of trying to add little pieces throughout the years to adapt to what our customers need.
Leading to this summer's newest addition.
Hey, you guys should have gas. Yeah, a great idea. I don't know how much that's going to be.
At the start of summer, 4 gas pumps at Hilltop Station went live, something the area has been lacking for decades.
We forgot to get gas, and then we remembered on our way out of town that there was a new gas station. We would have turned back around if we didn't remember.
And travelers are now happy to have.
Yeah, it's super convenient too.
Never thought it would be in the cards for us because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money we don't have.
But Tate and Eric say happy travelers is all they wanted.
Much money off of fuel, but again, it's providing the service, and yeah, it's just bringing people in.
They are calling the gas pumps the business Hail Mary. The brothers have struggled with the business over the years financially and say this could be the thing that saves it. Brian, this is actually not the only addition that they've got this summer. When I was out there, there's also a new turning lane into the property, which hasn't been there before, and drivers have been cautious to turn off of the highway.
Yeah.
So they worked with ITD to be able to get that, and that was required before the gas pumps went in.
I was going to say, because it's like 65? 55?
Yep.
65 maybe, through that area. Yeah, and it does widen out a little bit. I've noticed that with the turn lane, so that does help. All right.
So 2 new great additions for them.
All right, stop in for some pizza and a pump. All right. Thanks, Aspen. Okay, remember when I said just a bit ago they happen in threes? Well, you can add one more to that list. And while Al Larson may not be a celebrity outside of Idaho, the Bluebird Man is certainly well known among Idaho outdoor enthusiasts. On Monday morning, the Bluebird Man, Alfred Glenn Larson, passed away in his sleep at the age of 103. We were lucky enough to meet Al when he was just 102, the young man, 99 years after he first stepped foot in the Gem State. Al became known as Idaho's Bluebird Man because of the care he took in conserving and protecting the state bird and his longevity in doing it, matched only by his longevity in life. To honor Al today and all he did for the mountain bluebird, we're going to share his story again in today's 208 Redial. We first met Al Larson in July of 1992.
They call him the Bluebird Man.
We've got 4 baby mountain bluebirds, about 5 days old.
Then he was 68 and checking in on his many bluebird boxes across southwestern Idaho.
At this age, I just leave them alone. They're kind of small to put a band on.
And today,
I kept track of everything that happened in all the boxes.
Al still remembers how many birds he banded.
All told, I think it's around 31,400 bluebirds that I put bands on. I got to be known as the Bluebird Man.
Do you like that?
Oh, I don't mind it. Yeah, people still call me the Bluebird Man.
Al's interest in photography feathered into his interest in Idaho state bird in 1978, when he lived near Idaho City.
I was out for a walk when I noticed a bluebird going into a natural cavity in a tree. Thought, well, if I could put up a box like they have back east, I could have a captive bird that I could take pictures of. And so I started putting boxes up.
Do you know how many you put up, like over your lifetime?
Oh, I must have. It's close to 360.
Al records when each nest is built, tallies the eggs, how many of them hatch, and the number of bluebird young that fledge from the nest.
Al says he once had bluebird boxes in 6 different Idaho counties, and he would check them all when he was well into his 90s. When was the last time you were out checking boxes?
About 3 years ago.
I can tell you almost
For decades, time and age
given a little measurement here.
was just about numbers for Al.
That's about 49 millimeters. These guys are about 12 days old.
But this day,
today is my birthday, 102.
It's a big number.
I tell people that I finished my first century and I'm working on my second.
Mobility may become an issue in your second century.
Thousands and thousands of birds have seen me go by.
But that hasn't kept Al from seeing his birds.
And right now, I have windows on my bedroom where I spend most of my time with feeders right outside the window. So I've got birds coming in to visit me all day. So I think, well, I've got my friends coming up to see me anyhow, but bird friends. I'm in the cage and they're outside.
As for the legacy he built with the mountain and western bluebirds,
I guess I like bluebirds, to work with bluebirds because they accept me, they accept people probably more than a lot of the other songbirds do.
It's always been about helping.
And I can help them. It just seems like I'm reaching out and helping somebody in need. I think it helps a person realize his place in life if he gets close to these birds, other wildlife, and see how they live. And if you help them out, then you have a more direct part in it.
And that hasn't changed for Al 34 years later. What do you want people to know about what you've done for those decades?
Well, learn more about nature. Get out and see the birds, see the animals, see the flowers. Learn everything you can about nature.
Al was the subject of an Emmy-nominated documentary several years ago, and you can still find some of Al's bluebird boxes scattered around southern Idaho. Al was also a World War II veteran who served 3 years with the Marine Corps Signal Battalion in the Pacific Theater. And maybe you didn't know this, Al was Boise City Council member Jimmy Halliburton's grandfather. There he is at his swearing in. And he's also holding him as a baby. There it is. That's him in that photo many, many years ago. Jimmy says his grandfather was his hero, and he doesn't have words to describe what he meant to him. But he felt lucky to have him for as long as he did. He was a treasure to the state of Idaho for sure. And because of that, the public is invited to celebrate the life of Al Larson, Idaho's Bluebird Man, on Tuesday at the Relaya Funeral Chapel on the Boise Bench, followed by a burial at Dry Creek Cemetery. Jimmy tells us another way to honor Al by donating to the Larson Legacy Fund with the Golden Eagle Audubon Society to help continue his work. We'll have a link for you to do that in this story at ktvb.com. And all you have to do to make sure it's done is mention Al Larson or the Bluebird Man. It's a staple of summer, at least the weekends anyway, in southern Idaho. Delays on Highway 55. But this time, it's not just the amount of cars. It's about repairing a long stretch of the road. And if you're looking for a lineup for this year's Pride Festival in Boise, Abby Davis has it in today's 4-in-1.
Two conservation groups are suing the Idaho Department of Environmental Quality. They say the department has failed to protect public health by issuing an air quality permit for the proposed Stibnite Gold Project in Valley County. The Idaho Conservation League and Save the South Fork Salmon say the permit issued to Perpetua Resources fails to protect against arsenic and particulate pollution from the proposed open-pit gold mine. The Forest Service approved the mining operation in January. However, no mining can happen until the Forest Service approves Perpetua's final plan. Expect delays if you're headed up Highway 55 anytime soon. Crews with the Idaho Transportation Department are continuing to seal coat the road between Horseshoe Bend and Banks. That will take place during the day. Crews will also be sweeping at night, and tomorrow, crews will stripe the road from 6 a.m. to noon. Work is expected to wrap up late July or early August. The lineup of performers for Boise Pride this year is out now. Musicians taking the stage include Zolita, Plain Jane, and Fancy Hagood, a musician who has been recognized by both Elton John and Brandi Carlile. Genres include rock, synth pop, and soulful southern music. Boise Pride will soon announce their list of local artists. The festival is September 6th and 7th at Ann Morrison Park, and it's free to attend. There will be a parade on Sunday, concerts, food trucks, and vendor booths. That's the 411. I'm Abby Davis.
All right, got a couple of questions, comments, I should say, about the questions we asked of our delegation in Washington, D.C. Senator Risch's response to how are you going to shore up Social Security so it can meet its future obligations was not convincing. I understand Social Security is important. We will fix it, he said, is the same answer we've been hearing for more than 10 years, says Bob in Meridian. Meanwhile, this one from Steve. Did any of the Idaho congressmen answer the question Joe asked them? Not that I could hear. Of course, that was what I expected. Finally, great to see the McCulloughs. They make great pizza and, of course, the fries, says Tracy. But we want to leave you with this one about Al Larson. He had Al boxes at Lake Lowell as well. Banded so many, he was so much more than just the Bluebird Man. That's from Charlie, his friend.
Continue with us and watch free now on the KTVB Plus app everywhere you stream.